Hi, I'm Sharon Reese-Judd. I am a certified functional medicine practitioner and nutritionist. I have an office in Yardley, Pennsylvania, and I see most clients on Zoom, Skype, FaceTime, phone. And I'd like to talk to you today about autoimmune diseases such as lupus, arthritis, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, psoriasis, to name just a few. Autoimmune diseases, conditions, are caused from when the immune system attacks its own cells. If it attacks the cells in the thyroid, it manifests as Hashimoto's thyroiditis. If it attacks the cells in the skin, it manifests as psoriasis. It's thought that it's caused from some kind of cell mimicry where the immune cells mistake their body cells for bacteria, or because the structure might be similar. So they say that everything begins in the gut, and that's what functional medicine practitioners believe. So let's look at that. What's happening in the gut? Well, immunity, your immune system lives in the gut, lies in the gut. That's where your immune system is, 85%. So if something's wrong with the gut, then it affects the immune system and activates it as well. So what's happening in the gut and what's affecting the gut is you get a dysbiosis in the gut, where you normally have billions of microorganisms that are healthy, that are supposed to be there in the colon. And they're supposed to be there, that's normal. But what happens sometimes is you get bad, as we call it, bacteria growing. There's about 10 different species it could be, like H. pylori is very common, and others. You could have a growth of yeast or viruses or fungus. You could, and why does that happen? Usually happens because you get something called intestinal permeability, causing irritable bowel syndrome and other conditions where little holes are poked into the wall of the gut, and microbes and bacteria and food components are even seeped through the wall into the blood, causing activation of the immune system. So what is causing this intestinal permeability or leaky gut? You might have heard it that way. And that is 3 reasons. Some parts of foods, some toxins in our body and in our environment, and 3 different microbes like bacteria and viruses. So let's talk about foods that could be triggering your intestinal permeability, which triggers the immune system activation and inflammation. It could be that you're allergic to some foods and you're eating them. That could be, I could find that out very easily by sending you a allergy kit for foods, and it's very inexpensive, and you take a specimen and send it in. I get the results, and we omit those foods temporarily, at least in your diet. Most people have trouble and are allergic to proteins in some food called gluten, and also lectins, gluten in wheat and breads and grains, and lectins in nightshade vegetables and legumes and beans that aren't pressure cooked. So you're taking in some foods that you're allergic to, and that's irritating the gut, causing inflammation and holes, which is causing activation of your immune system. And it travels to other parts of your body by the blood and once it gets through the gut lining. The second reason is toxins in the body and in the environment. Toxins in the body such as mercury and lead. Well, where did I get that? Well, you get mercury toxicity from silver fillings. Silver fillings that are left in your mouth and wear down from the acid in your saliva actually liberates tiny little bits of mercury, and it's stored in the brain and wreaks havoc on your cells, in every cell of your body and in your gut, causing intestinal permeability. That's what started my chronic disease, having probably mercury toxicity. So what if you don't have silver fillings anymore? Well, like me, I had mine removed when I was in my 20s, and back then dentists just took them out and replaced them with ceramic fillings. That liberated some mercury into your system, and it gets stored in your brain forever unless you detoxify it. And I believe causes a lot of conditions such as autoimmune diseases, autism. I mean, these things are going rampant in our society, and I think one should consider toxicity from the body and from the environment. Also, lead. Lead, well, they don't put lead in paints and pencils since 1975, but you can still get lead from your mother through the placenta in vitro as a fetus. And everything's blamed on the mother, right? So you could have a toxicity of lead due to that and not even have been exposed yourself to lead. And that also remains in the body, in the bones. Also, it could be toxicity from bacteria and viruses. Your body has an inflammatory response to those, and I can easily send out a kit, identify which bacteria is causing your infection, or fungus or yeast, where do you have overgrowth, and I can target them with specific herbal antimicrobials for a period of a month to 3 months and kill off the bacteria, the virus, etc. And that will get that under control, which will get your IBS under control as well. So what is all these toxins and everything, what do? Yes, they affect your gastric lining, but they also affect every cell in your body. I wanted to look deeper, like as far as root causes. I think it went even deeper than the gut, to every cell in your body. Your cells, they all have cell wall. And in the cell wall are receptors that are like a lock. And your hormones and enzymes come along and they attach to the receptor. And the receptor takes the hormone into the cell where it's utilized. When you have toxicity, it affects your cell wall membrane, and the receptors are affected. Also, the mitochondria are affected. That's the sacs in the cells, the little kidney-shaped sacs that produce energy, or ATP, out of substrates like glucose, the food we eat, fatty acids. So that is decreased. So I have formulated a protocol for cellular detoxification. It takes about 3 months, and it detoxifies all the mercury, all the lead, and all the neurotoxins. I forgot to mention neurotoxins are chemicals that are in foods like glycosides, Roundup, that affect our nerves, and they are in all of our vegetables and fruits in this country if you don't eat organic, and I suggest you eat organic. So my cellular detoxification program takes these toxins out of the body, and it does that with specific binding agents that there's very few things that can bind strongly enough to get mercury and lead out of the body. And it's a very strong binding agent, and it also builds up your cellular detoxifier, which is in the cell. And it I have in the protocol different supplements that will increase the strength of the cell wall and also increase the ATP production in the cell. So this is a fantastic, amazing results have been from this cellular detoxification. I have clients who have autoimmune disease that are claiming that a lot of their symptoms are subsiding. I can't claim it can cure autoimmune diseases, but I can tell you that my clients are claiming that a lot of their symptoms are being reduced. So I'd be glad to work with you. Just give me a call to set up an appointment. Like I said, my fees are reasonable because I want it to be available to people who have chronic illnesses. So my number is 215-680-2354, or email me at schud1234@gmail.com. I hope this talk was informative and that you got something out of it, and I'll look forward to talking to you. Bye.